I hope everybody is feeling fine and well rested. In today's video, we are going to revise future tenses, if conditionals type 0 and 1. We'll start with future tenses. As you know, there are multiple future tenses to talk about future in English language. Then how will we differentiate these tenses? It is very simple when we know under what situation to use them. Let's start with simple future, will. First, let's start with the use of will. We use will to make predictions with no evidence. They are based on what we think or what we believe. So, in the video, fortune teller to Lisa, you will get married to a millionaire and travel around the world. The fortune teller uses simple future tense because she has no solid evidence to prove her prediction about Lisa's future. Let's see another example of this use. Don't give him your watch, he will break it. I have no evidence to prove that he will break it. It's just my opinion. Another use of simple future tense is decisions made at the moment of speaking, on-spot decisions. Let's have a look at the dialogue between Arnold and Jason. So Arnold tells Jason that he has a new email from John, and Jason answers, I will answer it. Because Jason hadn't known about the email before Arnold told him and decided to reply it at the moment of speaking, he uses will. Another example of this use is, oh no, Henry has fallen. I will help him clean his shirt and tie. Because I obviously didn't know that he was going to fall, I use will because at the moment I see him fall, I decide to help him. We use simple future tense also to give information, like tour guide to tourists. After having a big breakfast, we will visit the White House tomorrow at 11 a.m. The tour guide's purpose is to inform the tourists about the schedule tomorrow, so he uses will. Another use of simple future tense is to make offers. As you can see in the picture, Tim is helping an old lady carrying her bag. And he tells the old lady, you look very tired, I will carry your groceries for you. He uses will because he offers his help to the old lady. And finally, the last use of simple future tense is to make promises. So in the video, poor Phil hits the tree and destroys his bike. After destroying his brand new bike, he says to his dad, I will be more careful, I promise. Let's take a look at the structure of will. As we have seen in the examples with simple future tense, no matter what your subject is, it could be I, you, we, they, he, she, it, plural, singular, doesn't matter, will does not change and is always followed by the base form of verb. When we want to make a negative sentence, we can use will not or won't. Let's take a look at the examples given below. I will have another latte, please. This is an on-the-spot decision as the man did not know he was going to have another cup of coffee while he was drinking the first one. And in the second one, a wife to her husband, I won't waste money on expensive handbags again. It is a promise made by a wife. In the third one, will we have summer houses on Venus in the future? What do you think? We are asking our friend his or her prediction about the future. And the last one, it seems like you're having trouble doing your homework. I will help you. So you simply offer your help to your friend. The second future tense we will revise today is to be going to. Let's again try and revise the use of to be going to. The first use of to be going to is we can see the future in the present and see things coming. There is evidence. That is, we make predictions, but this time we have evidence. So in the video, she is texting while driving and her dad has an assumption. She is going to have an accident. He uses to be going to make a prediction as he has an evidence. The second use of to be going to, decisions already made as we speak, that is planned future. So my parents and I have bought our flight tickets to Berlin. You can see them. We are going to fly there next Thursday. So because we have already bought the tickets, I have a plan. Remember, for planned future, we can use present continuous tense as well as to be going to. Let's take a look at another example. So here we are planning to have a party for Gru. We can either say we are going to have a party for Gru next Saturday, or we are having a party for Gru next Saturday. The meaning does not change. Here is the structure of to be going to. As you can see, just like simple future tense, our verb is in the base form again, and to be becomes am, is, or are according to your subject. Lastly, simple present for future meaning. Even though we usually use simple present for general truths, habits, or routines, we can also use it to talk about future scheduled events, timetables, schools, stores, banks, trains, planes, or buses. Let's take a look at the examples given. Our lessons start at 8:30 a.m. Even if we are talking about tomorrow or next week, because it's a scheduled event, our lessons, we must use simple present tense. Or the bus to Cluj leaves in an hour. Again, even though we are talking about the future in an hour, because buses have timetables, we must use simple present tense. Last but not the least, remember, after adverbial of time, like after, before, when, or by the time, we do not use simple future will, to be going to, or present continuous tense. Instead of these, we use present simple tense. We still have the future meaning. Like after she arrives home, she will call her parents. We do not say after she will arrive home. Or he won't go shopping before he gets paid. Again, after before, we use present simple tense. And when my work is done, I will meet my friends. So after when, we use present simple tense. I hope now we can use future tenses appropriately. Now let's take a look at if conditionals. Today we are going to cover if conditionals type 0 and 1. Let's start with type 0 and with a video.
Zero conditional. If and the present simple in condition, present simple in the result. When the result is always true, a fact. If you respect the planet, you recycle your rubbish. If you don't recycle your rubbish, you don't respect the planet. If you drive a car, you probably use petrol. If you don't drive a car, you probably don't use petrol.
So as seen in the video, we use type 0 to show a cause-effect relationship between our actions or situations in general sense. Let's take a look at its use one by one. We use type 0 to express general truths. If you heat butter, it melts. So that means every time you heat butter, you get the same result. That is, it melts. Another use of type 0 is to express our typical behaviors and habits. As in the example, if Jane eats junk food a lot, she gains weight. That means whenever she eats junk food a lot, well, she puts on a couple of weights. To give comments or advice, we also use if type 0 to give comments or advice. So if you feel tired, like the man in the video, go to bed. It could be an advice from a friend to you, or it could be a comment from your mother to you. Let's take a look at its structure. Because we use it to express actions and situations in general sense, in both sentences we use present simple tense. It's simple, isn't it? And always remember, with type 0, instead of using if, we can also use when without a change in the meaning. So instead of saying if you heat water to 100 Celsius degrees, you can also say when you heat water to 100 Celsius degrees. The meaning won't change. Now let's take a look at the exercises given. If you like, you can stop the video and take a few minutes to answer the questions. So now if you are ready to check your answers, let's move on. I hope everybody did well. Now if you are ready, let's see why we use if type 1.
First conditional. If and the present simple in condition, and the result with will or won't. The result of probable situations. If we clean the oceans, the fish will live. If we don't clean the oceans, the fish won't live. If we plant more trees, the forests will grow. Unless we plant more trees, the forests won't grow.
Now let's take a look at its use one by one. We use first conditional to talk about possible or probable future events. So if the weather is sunny tomorrow, we will go surfing. That means us going surfing depends on the weather. Again, we have a cause-effect relationship just like type 0. But this time we are talking about a probable future, not general. We also use first conditional to make promises or warnings. So if Paula doesn't clean up her room, her mom won't give her phone back. That is a warning. But if Paula cleans up her room, her mom will let her go out with her friends. That is a promise by her mother. Always remember, with type 1, instead of using if, we can also use unless, but only if the following sentence is in negative form. So let's take a look at the examples given below. If she doesn't call me by midnight, I will go to her house. Here, what makes our sentence negative is doesn't. So if we want to rewrite this sentence with unless, we must get rid of it. So unless she calls me by midnight, I will go to her house. Because unless means if not, we don't use a negative structure after unless. However, the meaning still remains the same. Let's take a look at its structure. So, our if clause must be in present simple tense. But when we come to our main clause, because we are talking about the future and it's a probable or possible future, we must use will. Now that we have done revising if type 1, let's practice a bit. But before doing that, we will watch a short video explaining what Murphy's Law is, to the ones who don't know it yet.
Meaning of the English idiom Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law is a humorous fictional rule that says if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. In other words, if there is any possibility of something bad happening, it will. Usage of idiom. There can be other, more specific meanings for the idiom Murphy's Law. For example, nothing is ever as easy as it looks, or everything always takes a lot longer than you think it will. However, all of these can still be generalized to mean if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Examples of use. I was almost out of gas and of course there was no gas station for miles. Murphy's Law. I know you think we'll meet the deadline, but don't forget Murphy's Law.
So now you can stop your videos for a few minutes and try to complete the sentences according to Murphy's Law. Remember, your actions should have a bad or a negative outcome and your answers can vary. Okay, now here are some possible answers according to Murphy's Law. I really wonder if any of you could come up with worse scenarios than these. Like if you meet the man of your dreams, you will meet his beautiful wife too. Ouch. Or if you drop your eraser or pen, especially during the exams, it will roll to the least accessible corner or under the teacher's desk. So, I do hope that you have learned something from this video while enjoying it. So goodbye for now and have a great day.